What's up, you guys? This is Devin from CenturyFX Studios, back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about f8. Now, most of you that spend time around a camera, study lenses, buy lenses, know that f8, especially back in the day, was the aperture to be at if you were in a situation that had a lot of light. F8 was known to be the sharpest aperture, sharp on any lens. Any lens that you pick up, bang, bang, f8, bang, is going to be great quality. But nowadays, people get lackadaisical to the fact of what's the sharpest aperture on a lens. But we're going to test two lenses out, two lenses that are used a lot in the Canon world, and that's the 18 to 55 kit lens. This is the first one. This is one that's very old. And we also have the 50 millimeter 1.4. This is a prime lens that Canon has had in its lineup for a long time, around the time where they used to talk about f8 and how sharp it was. So, with that being said, let's get right into it. Now, on the left, we have the contender here, the 50 millimeter 1.4, and on the right, we have the 18 to 55. Now, immediately looking at these images, I can already see that there's more vibrance on the 50 millimeter side, the left here. And the left, it just has more punch to it. It looks like it carried the light a little bit better across the face and things of that nature. On the 18 to 55 side, on the right here, it looks like the colors are a little bit flatter, maybe a little bit less impressive, to say the least. We're gonna get right into the zooming portion, and we're gonna zoom in right on the eye because we are in the studio and we want to focus on the eye because it's a portrait. So let's zoom in on this comparison here. All right, so if I look, and this is actually 4-to-1. Let's go to 1-to-1 here, and you can see, wow, there's a tremendous difference. You can see that the 50 millimeter 1.4 has a very sharp rendition of this model here on the left, whereas comparison to the 18 to 55, the 18 to 55 looks very unsharp. Now I'm going to travel down this image to see if it didn't catch focus on something else or anything else. And when I look down the image, it looks like that same consistency of sharpness in the 18 to 55 on the right is the exact same sharpness throughout the image. There's no weird certain area where it caught focus at. There's that general same focus. If the sharpest part of the image is on the eyes, so it looks like I caught focus on the eyes, but it looks like it's a dreadful difference in the amount of sharpness in between this image and that image. Now, granted, the focal distances are a tad bit different because there's an 18 to 55, and I tried to get it as close to 50 millimeters as I possibly could, especially where I was standing. It might have been a little bit different framing wise, but with the same aperture at ISO 100 at 100th of a second, those should be ample settings to get the sharpest image out of the lens. And if this is the sharpest image that I get out of the 18 to 55, now this is granted, this is the first, like, this is a really old version of the kit lens. But if your cameras, back when this kit lens was out, we had like 10 megapixel cameras, 12 megapixel cameras, 14, 15 megapixel cameras. If your camera captures anything over 8 megapixels, this lens shouldn't be a part of your kit at all. Now, I cleaned this lens. I made sure everything was off of it. I hadn't used it in a while, but that's a dramatic change in image quality. I didn't know it was that much of a difference in image quality at the same apertures. I used the single focus point on the 7D to try to nail it, and this is the best it could give me. I don't know if it, misfocused or misoperated here. Maybe the nose seems a little tad bit more focused. If not, it's just the speckle of highlights that are throwing me off as far as the focus, but it looks like the general area of focus was the exact same, and it just flat out just gave me a trash of an image in comparison. Now you might be saying to yourself, oh, well, far away it doesn't look that bad. And it probably looks exactly like this on the back of your computer screen or your camera screen where you don't zoom in, but you always have to zoom in, especially in the studio, because anybody can move or anything like that. But in this case, I told her to stay still, and I just took these pictures right side by side. Like it was no reason why this should have not been in focus, because I know the 50 millimeter was dead in focus, and it doesn't look like it focused on anything else when it comes to the 18 and 55. So now I really value lenses that are built to last, and they can take sharp images, because it looks like I took that with a 10 megapixel camera when I took it, as you can see, with the same 18 megapixel camera, same settings, same everything. So with that being said, I'm done with CenturyFX Studios, and this is just a quick update on sharp lenses at f8 and the differences between some lenses.